Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. So last time we left off having defeated the Stag Lord, but I was tossing around the idea of giving another shot because Cressel died. And I think I'm going to let it remain as it is, as much as it pains me, because naturally I want to keep everyone alive. That's just my style when I play. I like to protect everyone that I can. But there's something to be said for letting things play out the way they do, but also looking online for a spoiler-free just, can I save Cressel, etc. The result seems to be that she plays no significant role in the rest of the game. So if I save her, she just shows up at Oleg's, says like one line, and then that's it. And so, while I think I could have saved her, particularly if we like buffed up Amiri to the level that we had her when we fought Tuskgutter and just sent her alone up top to take on the Stag Lord, while the rest of the party took out all the rest of the bandits, then probably most enemies, certainly the one throwing the various firebombs. No, the firebombs was our alchemist, you. But yeah, most of the others would have been killed pretty quickly. And I think that might have changed things to the point where Cressel didn't die. But the fact that she and Akiros decided to run up there, but then just got stuck, unable to move, getting sniped because they had to fight the Bandit Lord, not all the others. But also with my whole party there, they couldn't run past. So they just stood there doing nothing until Cressel died. Yeah, anyway, enough of that out of the way. I think we've already looted these bodies. Yeah. Did we loot everyone over here already? The answer is probably yes. Probably no. Well, good thing I'm checking. So we got a magical rapier, a magical chain shirt, and a ring of protection. Agile rapier, so not just a basic one. What does agile give us? Agile weapons are unusually well balanced and responsive. A wielder with the weapon finesse feat can choose to apply her dexterity modifier to damage rolls with an agile weapon in place of her strength modifier. Okay. So finesse wielding is the normal thing that rapiers would have and other light weapons that allow you to use your dex to attack if you have weapon finesse. This is allowing you to also use your dex for damage. Very interesting. Then, Stag Lord's Broken Charm. A charm once worn by the Stag Lord. It's smeared with blood. It probably used to have something inside, but it's empty now. Huh. Composite longbow that's magical. Savage bow. This +1 composite longbow grants its wielder the ability to cast Aspect of the Falcon spell 3 times per day as a first level druid, for 1 minute each time. When the wielder assumes the aspect of the Falcon, they gain +3 competence bonus to perception skill checks, a +1 competence bonus to attack rolls with ranged weapons, and the critical multiplier for their bows and crossbows becomes 1920 times 3. I don't know what they normally are. This effect does not stack with any other effect that improves the crit range of a weapon. So, probably a boosted crit multiplier and a bonus to attack. And a bonus to perception, for what that's worth. Not bad. Studded leather, that's Woodland's Aegis. +2 studded leather allows the wearer to cast Barkskin once per day as a 3rd level druid. Okay. His helmet, which I thought was magical, but maybe not. This helmet focuses the wearer... Oh yeah, it is. Wears attention on the weak points of enemies, giving +1 insight bonus to attack rolls against flat-footed and flanked targets. Alright. Boots of Elven Kind gives +5 bonus on mobility checks. Lesser Bracers of Archery. Empower the wearer to use a bow with a +1 competence bonus on attack rolls. And a cloak. Cloak of the Winter Veil. This cloak grants its wearer a +1 resistance bonus to all saving throws and cold resistance 10. So it's a Cloak of Resistance that also gives resistance 10 to cold. Neat. Great Club +2, a +2 weapon. Wow. And a Belt of Mighty Constitution +2. We'll give that to one of our frontliners. Masterwork hand axes. It's a lot of good stuff. And skin the ferocious wolf. I'm like, who are we skinning? Okay. I was confused for a moment there, but I forgot about the wolf that we killed somewhere. Not sure what happened to the owlbear. So with all of that stuff, any of it that we want to use, probably we'll give Amiri the con bonus, replacing the explorer's belt. No, that gave a con bonus as well, +2 con. And +2 against diseases, fatigue, and exhaustion. So we'll give the con then to... I mean, arguably I could give it to Harem so that he doesn't die as easily. Amiri, you can have the winter cloak. Archery. The only one actually using a bow is you. +5 mobility. Who is our mobility character out of everyone? Octavia. So we'll let you have even higher skills. Flat-footed and flanked targets. I mean, you're the rogue that's doing a sneak attack, but I don't know that you count as your targets being flat-footed or flanked. I don't know why you're getting sneak attack, actually, because I thought you would have to be flanked or them being flat-footed. Well, that looks really dumb, but have fun with that. Okay, with that all out of the way, I think that's... No, we still had the armor. Chain shirt, we've already got plenty of those. But the Woodlands Aegis, it's a +2 light armor. So you use light. This is probably a... No, so it's equal in protection for you, because studded leather is a worse base magic or base armor than chain shirts. And I don't think anyone else is using light. You're using medium, you're using medium, you're using heavy, you're not wearing armor, and I'm not wearing armor. So yeah, Lindsay, you can upgrade and be able to cast bark skin once per day. And then weapon-wise, what was our newest weapons? Yeah, we got a couple of bows, an agile rapier, which is probably better than your short sword. Though I don't know if we've given her... what was the feat? Weapon finesse. Almost certainly we have not. And then a composite longbow. I don't think we have anyone that's really designed to use a longbow. You've got a short bow. Yeah, you're not even trained to be able to use the longbow. I mean, I guess I could equip some of my other characters so that if something happens and they can't, like if they get webbed so they can't move forward, I could have them just pull out a bow. Theoretically. I don't know. Seems fine. Now with all that out of the way, let's look into leveling up. So as usual, I'm going to just pause things while I figure out what I'm going to do, and then we will come back after I make my decisions. For Melandra, I decided that we would go with Precise Shot as our feat, so that we're no longer taking the -4 penalty in attack rolls. We automatically gained Hideous Laughter as just our class level up, and then Burning Hands and Burning Arc, because I realized pretty early on we don't have a lot of damaging spells on our spellcasters. Burning Hands being an area attack because that'll help us with swarms. Burning Arc is pretty good where it's going to do 5d6 points of fire damage and then potentially leap to additional enemies based on my caster level to do that damage again. And they get a reflex save to avoid it. Not bad. So hopefully those will work out well. For Lindsay, I gave her Blur as a new spell, just so that we have more, I don't know, buffs that can help us survive. The same thing with Reg when we leveled him up before. It was a decision between Blur and Mirror Image, because in my mind they're pretty equivalent. And I arbitrarily once again chose Blur because it sounds better, because it doesn't wear off by taking attacks, but it's also only 20% miss chance. I don't know. And then Lingering Performance, which allows the Bardic Performance to last for 2 more rounds after you end it. So I could start Bardic Performance the first round of a fight, and then immediately turn it back off, and we'd get 3 rounds of its lasting, which is probably enough for most smaller fights. It'll just make her Bardic Performance last longer, though, with a bit more effort on my part to turn it off and on. Amiri didn't have a lot of choices. She gained Improved Uncanny Dodge automatically, so can no longer be flanked, seems nice. And then I gave her Die Hard because she keeps going down. I was tempted by a few different options that I'll probably pick up later, namely either Extra Rage, which gives 6 more rounds of Rage per day, but I don't think I've been using Rage often enough, and so she's not running out to my knowledge. Or Extra Rage Power, which allows me to choose from the powers that she's gotten at other levels. And I'm tempted by Swift Foot, so that her movement speed is up higher while she rages. But I don't know. We'll decide, but for now, I'm going with Die Hard, just to keep her in the fight a little bit longer. Aram also didn't have a lot of choices. Feat-wise, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I guess if we can go back. The spell focus and weapon focus are what it suggests. He's currently using a flail for his weapon, but his god's favorite weapon, which I like to choose for clerics, is a heavy flail. But the heavy flail requires 2 hands. We'd have to give up the shield. I'm not sure about that. So, haven't made up my mind there. So I gave him medium armor focus. It gives him +1 AC, and he can always benefit from the AC bonus. He also did get a bunch of new spells. So Cure Serious Wounds is going to be real nice. But then also Delay Poison Communal is one I've been waiting for. So that'll be great to have available. Several of the others are also decent. With Valerie, the choices weren't that hard. She automatically gained a Tower Shield Specialist, which means she's no longer getting the -2 penalty to attack rolls when using a Tower Shield, which is great. She'll be more likely to hit, which I approve of. And then Heavy Armor Focus just gives her a +1 when wearing heavy armor, which she will be. We're just building her into more and more of an AC tank. But like I said, long term, when enemies start attacking touch AC, she has nothing and she'll just die. So, yeah, that's a problem that I don't really have a solution for. So with Octavia, we finally got her a level of Arcane Trickster because she finally meets the requirements. She doesn't get her ability to boost her sneak attack, or I guess the... what are we calling it? Impromptu sneak attack, which allows her to find other ways to get sneak attack until 3rd level. But that's fine. She's at least on the route there. She's got Ranged Legerdemain, which means she can do trickery at range. I don't know how useful that's going to be, but it's a thing. And then for feats, I gave her Precise Shot, so that she's no longer taking the -4 penalty for attacking into melee, which is going to be huge. As for spells, I gave her Cats of Grace so that she can boost herself. She does have her ongoing boost of currently +1 to Dexterity. This means she can cast it to get it up to a +4 to Dexterity instead. It's the same type bonus, enhancement bonus, so they won't stack, but still good. And then Mirror Image, just because everyone else is getting Blur, so I figured we'd add the other one. I guess this is personal, so maybe I should have considered it. It's fine. She can have Mirror Image while everyone else has Blur. Are they both personal? Mirror Image and Blur? Maybe that's a question. Because that's personal. Blur can be cast on others. Maybe I do give you blur then. Just so you have options. But I might pick up mirror image later. Yeah. So that's her level up. And that, I think, is everyone that's at least in our current party. So, yeah. Time to head in. Did we not loot this body? Or that? We did not loot this body. Because I would have grabbed that food. What is this over here? A kukri, a magical kukri. As a kid, I loved kukris as weapons for things like Neverwinter Nights. That crit range, 18 to 20 times 2. You get a keen kukri. Particularly Neverwinter Nights, which was based on 3rd edition D&D, where they didn't prevent the stacking buffs. So you would get improved critical, which would double your crit range, and then keen, which would also double your crit range. And so doing that on a kukri, which has 3 numbers, would give you a huge crit range on your attacks. So that you would crit like every other strike. This place, the place the bandits have chosen for their fortress, is possibly the best to start a city. It's suitable both for life, trade, and defense. Both for life, trade, and defense. That's 3 things. Usually you don't use both for 3 items, but you do you. Let's head on in. See what's going on in his fortress. Prodigal son. It's done, I said. Milliken studied me with narrowed eyes. You look awfully clean, he said. Where's the knife? In answer, the first shouts went up from the inn. Fire! Screamed Ilna, and then other voices joined hers. In an instant, Milliken's entrepreneurial instincts took over, and he sprang for the door, tossing the crossbow aside. Outside, the roof of the inn was already smoking oily black against the sunset. Flame, probably, licking through the thatching in places. With a scream of pain, Milliken ran for the creek. I looked to Fargus. Needing no further cue, we each grabbed up armfuls of supplies and sprinted off in the opposite direction. After 10 minutes of leaped brambles and ducked branches, we stopped to catch our breath. Back the way we'd come, the smoke was still visible, though the sounds had faded to just a faint and frantic pealing of a church bell. That was close, Fargus said, leaning against a tree and breathing hard. Agreed, I puffed, staring down at the cloak full of bread that now made up our sole possessions. Then the sound of a bell reminded me of something. About what you said back there, I asked. You said Shaylin. I thought you were a priest of Desna. Fargus grunted. A man's faith is a personal thing, he said, tying up the cloak. Now shut up and keep running. He did. Not sure what that story was trying to say. So in theory, if we backed up, Octavia could disarm this from a distance. Wow. What distance?
Done and done.
I'm glad you were willing to show off your cool new skills. So Nugra's in there. That's the Stag Lord's father. Luxurious bed is untouched. It seems that it hasn't been slept in for some time. Secret overlords, the essence of the world order. Until recently, we knew this world as it was described in books and stories, a sewer torn apart by hyenas that separate us with nations and borders, oppresses us with extortion and lies, and assert their authority and power. However, someone else's hand rules these slaves who act like masters. It's a threat far more intimidating than a handful of arrogant fools. Our lands are secretly ruled by the most ancient creatures of Galarian, the inhabitants of the Everdark Depths, who know both past and future. People led along paths they cannot see and do not have the power to leave, to an end known only to our hidden masters. Some insist that the signs are purely coincidental, but they point to a vast conspiracy. Only a fool can fail to see how the myriad coincidences weave into a greater cobweb, where they have submitted their very will to and sworn their allegiance to our unseen masters in the depths. So, conspiracy theories. And the Great Debates by Valira Ilio. publishing house of the Temple of Iomade in Origent. Today, many know of the Saramgamin, there's a word, Saramgamin order, and respect its teachings, even endorse them. Such was not yet the case on that memorable day, when an unheard of forest hermit came to a temple of Sarenrae and challenged the high priestess to a debate. This was Avalo, whom none had yet called teacher, a traveling wise man who left Jalmare in search of wisdom and found it here in Andoran, while meditating in the Arthel forest. The revelation he received was as brilliant as it was controversial. According to his philosophy, truth lies not in venerating the gods of the good and order, and it's curious that while recognizing Erastil, Abadar, Shaylin, Irori, Iomade, and Sarenrae, he at the same time rejects the kinder gods of chaos, such as Desna and Caden Salian. Instead, he pursues the so-called wise way, a common principle said to underlie all the teachings of his favorite deities. Avalo has defended this philosophy in debates with many theologians from various temples. Only a few of them were converted on the spot, but gradually a circle of loyal disciples formed around him. By turns, this circle grew into the order he calls Suramgamin, which means the way of a hero, or perhaps the way of making the world a better place. In this book, I recount the story of these early debates, including detailed theological comments on the central points of each side. Interesting. So rather than following specific gods who have their own views of right and wrong and what's important and what's not, you instead focus on just good common principles of leading a good life that makes the world a better place, which I can approve of. Versus, say, worshipping Shaylin and having to focus all of your time on making art, and then even some aspects of, like Valerie was talking about when we spoke to her, about you can't kill a murderer or bandit or anything like that, even if they're clearly guilty, because they might be willing to make art later. And so they're making poor decisions that make the world a worse place because that's their god's wish. And so it's ignore all those things that seem silly and weird and instead just focus on the things that make the world a better place. I can approve of that viewpoint. And then The Legend of the Pathfinder by Aaron Rorvey. The door flung open. The three chaps sharing adventure stories fell silent. "Hail, friend," said the visitor in a deep voice. "Have you got a room for me, master?" The bored half-elf behind the counter peered into the visitor's face and whistled. "Blimey, if it isn't Gregis Jeffs. Hail, friend. Let me give you a room. Your gold is no good here." "No, I'll pay for it in full. That's what the society is for. Helping and sharing." Gregis nods at the three chaps. "So, there's my replacement. Have you held the confirmation yet?" "We've got one last trial to go," the youngest blurted out and popped up from his chair. "It's such an honor. I've read all the chronicles, all about your adventures." "I heard you joined the Decemvirate," Gregis, another uttered. "Oh, did you? You should cut off your ears then. They deceive you. Am I wearing a mask?" "You ain't." "Good for you. A Pathfinder with no eyes is no good. I'm not interested in politics. I'm interested in seeking. So are you going to pour me a beer? And I'll tell you a couple of tales." Okay, just a general story about a Pathfinder.
I do what I must.
Yeah, we'll check out the father later. I wonder if there's an option I can choose specifically for her. Okay, range ledger main. Oh. Okay, no, so it's something I turn on and then it's always active, potentially. Meaning that the checks are 5 points harder, but then I don't have to worry about her accidentally stepping on something. I think it's something that I would rather just use when I know I need it. Because most of the time it's fine to walk up to
Done and done.
whatever we're dealing with. A punching dagger that's magical, and padded armor that's magical. Both just being plain +1.
I did as you asked.
Silver buckle, some gold. Look at all of this alcohol. So this is clearly where the Stag Lord's been staying, since they said that the bed had been untouched for ages. Empty wine bottles cover the floor The ones from Thorn River Bandit Camp among them. Yeah. Feel slightly bad about poisoning him before the fight, but not enough to actually care. A light hammer, +1. Nothing else hiding over here. So equipment-wise, let's get the newest items. I don't care about the light hammer or the punching dagger. Padded armor +1 is light armor, but it's pretty terrible light armor. So we're not going to use that. Yeah, and then the kukri that no one's using. Okay. So Nugra, rather. What's your deal? The exit of the fort backyard looks abandoned. It seems that the bandits barely used it. Can we just talk to him through the door? Doesn't seem like it. We also can't see him anymore. No, so we've got to open the door.
I did as you asked.
And you immediately go hostile. Stranger wants my blood, I know. Okay. This was your choice, Nugra. I wanted to see if you had any redeeming quality, any reason for why you did what you did, that we could justify leaving you alive.
Consider me provoked.
But, nope. Alright. Lindsay, you get out of the way so that meleeers can get in. Okay, Lindsay, that's not what I told you to do, but have fun with that. Alright. Yeah, so share the joyous news with Oleg. Maybe we should find Nugra. Yeah, the Stag Lord is defeated. His Iron Hand rules the stolen lands no longer. Quickly, let's get to the trading post and share the news with Oleg. Maybe we should find Nugra, the druid, the insane father of the Stag Lord. So we've got him taken care of, so that we won't have any problems with him in the future, because he was equally terrible. Like, his actions are what made the Stag Lord turn into the Stag Lord. To some extent. Obviously, Stag Lord made his own choices. But very poor raising conditions. Again, another chest with nothing in it. Does that mean we put more herbs in it? Preferably not both stacks. Can I split you? Yeah. So it's following the same pattern. That was their old house that was that way. So it makes sense. We've got one more herb, so maybe there's another chest somewhere that we'll have to use that on. So Wand of Cat's Grace sounds great. I don't think that wands ever regain charges, so they're just, you use them and eventually they wear out, which is disappointing. And then on Transmutations and Bodily Poisons Part 2, we've read Part 1, which I think we got from their house. Truly blessed and enlightened is that learned man or wise woman whose gaze has pierced the mysteries of alchemy. This path fortifies the spirit, sharpens the mind, and teaches temperance in all things. Even the petty and shallow have, through ardor in their pursuit of alchemical knowledge, achieved virtue. Yet nevertheless, this art is notwithstanding its dangers. An alchemist who turns into imbibing his own concoctions, as is custom among the young and impatient, may wreak havoc upon his very nature. For a potion is not merely a concoction, but a mixture of primes, which the naked eye cannot see. These basic elements of spirit, once they take root within, may intermingle and converge. Through their union, poison the soul, compel deeds most disgraceful, or excite with the temper of a demon. Then Nugra. You were left with magical armor, a masterwork club, and then a note. Why did your son imprison you with masterwork weapons and magical armor? He calls to her again, his queen. He drinks, he calls to her. He drinks again. I have no idea who she is. I can't even tell if she exists outside his own drunken vision. But I know he'll call to her, and then he'll crash around angrily, yelling that she didn't come. Then he'll come for me. I obey the rules. I do as he says. I keep silent until he allows me to speak, but he still beats me every time he rages and drinks. Or drinks and rages. He said he'll burn my hands in acid next time. Will I still be able to write? Yeah, you guys both had a terrible life that you sort of caused in each other. But that's that. Stag Lord's defeated. We have can claim victory. Let's talk to you. I don't know if we did already. Akiros. Look around. The fort belongs to you now. Okay. That's all you have to say? They called us traitors, but I think pragmatists is more fitting. Yeah. What a fight. I'll be bragging about this in every tavern I visit. So the goal now is to get back to Oleg. And then report to Restov. Wand of Vanish and an amulet. Amulet of Natural Armor. That's a good amulet. Because that just gives us a +1 to AC of a different type than most other types. So this will actually boost her AC up to 20, which is great. There's also the height armor +2 that I wasn't looking at, but probably should. So that's base armor of 6 for a medium. Of my medium people, is that better? It's equal to yours. Less of an armor check penalty for what little value that is. You're also... No, you're in light. And then you're in... Yeah, so it's technically better than what you have by a little. And it looks cool. Check out those shoulder spikes. Huh. Probably want to do some selling when we get back to Oleg's. And we'll need to report to him, of course, and Svetlana that Kressel didn't make it. But yeah, I think... I don't know if we personally march back to Brevoy, because it is on the map. I'll take Kressel's armor. Pretend that I can give it to her sister. None of the rest of this has any real value. But yeah, we came from Rostov, so we potentially could march back there. I'm hoping we just have to go to Oleg's. But maybe we do go back to Brevoy. So... Wow. We probably didn't connect there because that seems like that would be the faster route, but it doesn't seem to know it. So if I wanted to go to Oleg's, it's recommending going all the way up here and then over. That may be the fastest route. Probably not, though. Oh, we haven't connected there, clearly. Anyway, let's go to there. Make our way up here, then to the old Sycamore, which we won't enter. We're just going to connect those lines.
I need to catch my breath.
Then... yeah, that's taking a sensible path now.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Okay. All of our characters are fatigued. We're not going to get to Oleg's anytime soon, so I'm not going to push on trying to get there. We'll just camp out here. Oh, I guess I should have...
I can't believe our adventure finally begins. I'm so happy to be here. And I do hope we will become trusted companions. And perhaps even true friends.
Oh, yes, certainly. Could you pass the salt?
Does not care. Yeah, but it occurred to me, I need to go to Nettle's Crossing still to report to Davik Nettle that the Stag Lord's dead. What is this? A prominent landmark, Riverine Rise, can be seen from afar. Riverbank swells here, forming a quaint, picturesque hill. We'll check out some of these other places soon-ish. Maybe. Davik was down here.
In due time.
Hi there. Stag Lord is dead. Pharasma awaits. Farewell, Melandra. The corpse crumples to the ground. When Stag Lord's blood spilled, I guess we can't see that one because... There we go. When the Stag Lord's blood spilled on the ground, he defiled. We weren't the only ones to sigh with relief. We've indicated many innocent lives that a accursed bandit had extinguished before we arrived. Alas, we know only of one of his victims' names. Rest in peace, Davik Nettle. And there's the spear we were promised, a short spear. That's just a short spear plus 1. But we will take it. And I still think we're making good time to get there within the 30 days. For whatever that reward ends up being.
I need to catch my breath.
Sorry, no, we're gonna just keep going till we get there.
We should gather our strength.
It's fine. You're all a little tired. No problem. Perhaps I should have waited.
Adventures can wait.
Yeah, I was thinking in case something immediately triggered. But I think I will wait here, and so next time we will actually go in and report the Stag Lord is defeated and see what that triggers. Or maybe that isn't done here, and we will have to travel east over to Restov. But for now, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.